I was in HBO's The Last of Us. I was a zombie. I was, well, not a zombie, an infected. I was a stage 1 infected, which I think are called runners. I'm actually in episode 2. Now, you'll see why there's a very large, in episode 2 in a second here, but I'm basically gonna go through, not the full episode, I'm gonna go through the 2 scenes that I was in, and discuss kind of how they were shot and what they did. This show is really good. I was not sure what to expect based on the quality of what this show would be like. I promised myself that even if I was in it, if it was shit, I would say that it was shit. So far it's not. The dialogue and the character believability of these characters in this show are quite, top-notch, pretty impressive stuff. The scene I was in is the very ending of episode 2, where, big spoiler alert if you haven't seen this, where Tess blows up. This set here, this Parliament building thing, I was on this set for an entire day, and this set was built in a soundstage. So it's not actually a building. It's not, that window there is not actually outside, that's a blue screen. Building we were in this, I think that's Neil Druckmann, by the way, which is kind of funny. I got a picture with him, like a big group picture, and I'm still waiting for him to post that. This door we had to run through. But on the other side of the building, there's that kind of hallway that goes into the back there. That looks like it was added in post, because there was just like a short little hallway and then like a big statue of, I think, George Washington or something. But yeah, this scene that's happening here, this dialogue, we were not there for that. I was hoping I would meet Pedro, but I did not, so kind of fucking disappointing. I did see Anna Torv, who plays Tess, and like we were in that room with her when she blows herself up, and so like she was right there, and we had to form a little semicircle around her. But it's funny because we spent a whole day doing that little scene, and they only used a couple shots from it, which is how filmmaking works. But it's a bit disappointing when you spend an entire day running through the same exact place over and over and over again, and then they don't use it. Some little vines appear and communicate what's going on to the other infected that are somewhere else. And that was the first day that I was shooting. So this here, I'll pause and describe it. So this here is basically a mound of moss, and it was in front of a giant green screen. It was just like a little mound, like a hill, a bump covered in this moss. And so I met this guy. He's the one that kisses her. And so this is all a mound, and these are us back here, and we're all lying on top of each other, kind of tangled up. And there was a scene back here somewhere where they're looking out over this roof, and so you have all these infected that are like piled up and twitching. So that's what we had to do. And then this is like a giant light, and they moved the light over, or they moved a curtain, and the light shone over us, and we had to like curl up into a fetal position, and then the light would pass off, and then we would kind of go out again. So I think this here is this is difficult because I can't tell if this shot is CG or if this here is a composited element of us on that hill shot from above, because they did shoot us with a big crane that was like looking down on the hill. And so this could be that composited shot of us, like, actually reacting to the light. So if that's true, then I'm there as well, in a giant pile of shit where you can't see me. And so this is the mound, this is the guy, all this is prosthetic. That's literally what he looked like. There's no CG on this guy. Like, all these zombies getting up here in the back, some of these are us, and then most of them look like composited, because there definitely was not that many of us on that little mound. But like, all these guys here that are getting up near the ground, that's us actually getting up. Oh no, they're coming, woo! She dumps gas and grenades all over the floor, and they did that. They dumped a bunch of grenades, spilled them out on the floor, and we had to run from this door back here across this rotunda to the place in the back. And so we had to dodge, like where they're running right now, this is where we ran. So we had to dodge all of this shit on the floor. There were extras as dead fireflies that were lying all over the ground. We couldn't step on them. And I think it was the producer or something, he's like, yeah, so this woman over here is pregnant, so definitely don't step on her. They had, in these little wings here, they had the monitors and the crew. This was like a full set. They built this entire thing. So like, all these little offshoots here had actual stuff in them. There were rooms. And they had, like, the crew would kind of hide in these little alcoves with the monitors and whatever. And this was directed by Neil Druckmann. I think this whole episode was, but definitely this scene, because he was there. Yeah, so we run in. That's us. So that's literally what we did. This scene here. So this is what we were doing the entire day. This was just the whole day. So where we go from Joel and Ellie running away to this is a completely different day. So this is us. I literally cannot see myself, unfortunately, because it's all blurred. And I'll talk about why it's really intelligent how they frame this when I get to a shot of it. And they were careful to choose the shot that was just our feet, instead of the shot of our faces, because our faces were very minimally kind of painted. So this, my mother thinks this is me. I don't remember what I was wearing, like, at all. So maybe, this is just another take, and this is us just running in again behind him. So it's the same exact people that were running in a couple seconds ago. So then we all, like, gather in a circle. So this, what I mean by what I was saying before, how they framed it, is there were three types of effect that they were putting on us. The first type of effect was basically this guy. So this guy was the main zombie that you see in this sequence. And so he had, like, the full thing, full prosthetic, full makeup, everything. He didn't have the little, pubes coming out of his mouth, but he had everything else. Behind here you had these people. Basically there was a choreographer, and he was the one who was basically telling us what to do and giving us instructions. So we had to come in before and do like a rehearsal for how we were going to do this. The ones that are in the prosthetic with the mushrooms are his, like, dancers. And then all of us were just kind of random extras. And so he was giving us instructions saying, when you run in, I need more of you in this area. I need you to be more twitchy. I need you to do more of this or less of this or whatever. And so we are all behind his dancers. So they specifically framed it so that the dancers with the prosthetics are still blurred, but they're in front of all of us who have very minimal makeup. I had to watch this happen like 20 times. So everyone was like, oh, all the people on the internet were like, oh my god, that's so fucking disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Like, I watched that shit 20 times. And then basically what happens here is they had these giant, like, lights hung over the set. And when she drops the lighter, they turn on and they're all, like, orange. And they fill the room with this orange light. So, yeah. I was in The Last of Us. You know, I tried my best to run close to the camera every time I ran by. But, you know, whether that is actually me in that blurry shot, if my mother is right, I don't know. I don't remember what I was wearing. The quarantine zone in the first episode where there's the streets and Joel is throwing the bodies in and whatever. That was a set that they built in a giant parking lot, and they built all those buildings, that whole street. They had a bunch of different side streets and everything. It was all a set. The big gate in the front that says welcome, quarantine zone, whatever, with the Fedra agents. I was there. I saw that. It was weird because everyone on the internet is like, oh, I wonder what the clickers look like. I wonder what all these things look like. And I was like, well, I have seen them. I was a zombie. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that kind of little different type of video. Hi, I'm actually a writer, and I actually wrote a book. It's called Series. It's science fiction, and it's available on Amazon and Google Play.